I saw an article this morning that I thought I should bring to everybody's attention, and I said this a long time ago. I knew what I was talking about, and I just want to reiterate. Somebody was saying, and it was scaring the whole real estate industry, going, "Oh my God, the open door is going to ruin it for real estate people because you're going to be able to go online, click a button, and buy a house online like Carvana." You know Carvana? There's a big difference though. And I said this a long time ago. I said Carvana, they take your car, they send it to a shop, they clean it, they detail it, they take the dents out, they take the scratches out, they repaint it if necessary, do everything they need to do to make it look like almost a brand new car. And then they go, here's the keys. And I said, that might work with cars, but homes are based on personality and feelings. I said, when you go look at a house, people walk in, if it smells funny, people get turned off right away. It doesn't matter what a beautiful house it is. You walk in there and it smells like a weird, musty smell, people get turned off. How do you put that on the internet? How do you put how a room makes you feel? Even though the pictures are gorgeous, you get in the room and you can't even fit a bed in there. I was remembering one of the clients that said, not one of the clients, one of my friends bought a house in another state, had nothing to do with me. And he said when his dog can't even jump off the bed. Why can't he jump off the bed? Because the bed is so close to the wall, the dog slams into the wall every time he tries to get off the bed. That's how close it is. You didn't see that online. He bought a house in another state without even going there. Like just went briefly, but he saw it from the pictures, fell in love with the house, went there, and the house is completely unsuitable, selling the house. So what's my point? Wall Street just gave OpenDoor a standing ovation for quitting. Stocks are up 600%, not because they're doing well, but because they abandoned the Zillow method of trying to screw agents. They realized they cannot replace agents, which is what Zillow said. We don't need agents anymore. We took all their money. We are big now, and now we're just going to let people work without a realtor. OpenDoor did the same thing. We're going out of business. As soon as they said, we're not going to work against the agent, we're going to now work with agents. We're going to start empowering them. All right. They said that they thought algorithms were going to replace local knowledge. OpenDoor burned through billions of dollars discovering the same truth. You cannot out-algorithm a smelly basement, a neighbor who plays the drums at midnight, a school that's rezoning, foundation issues with cracks, termites, divorces. You cannot figure out algorithms for that stuff. So there's one job, real estate, that everybody just said, oh, you're making a big mistake. You're going into real estate. Soon they're just going to press a button, the door's going to unlock, people are going to go there. They don't need an agent anymore. Well, after I just read this morning, I said, I knew this. I called this a couple of years ago when they said, you're wasting your time, Joe. You need to go find a new career because the real estate's going out the window. Nobody's going to need realtors anymore because they don't really do anything except unlock doors. Couldn't be further from the truth. It's not what we do. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's thing number one. I wanted to cover that. I want to make sure everybody understands this because you're going to run into friends. You're going to run into contacts. You're going to meet people. And I remember when they just started going through the Zillow and the OpenDoor thing a couple of years ago, and I meet people and they go, oh, you're in real estate? Oh, like they feel sorry for me. Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, you guys, we heard like Zillow's, you're not going to need a realtor anymore. OpenDoor, you don't even need a realtor. They just call you up and they just make an offer on your house and just buy it. That's what OpenDoor was doing. But meanwhile, they're selling you based on, they were buying houses based on this algorithm of what homes they thought was worth. And again, you can't, they never sent a single human to the house. They're mailing you or giving you online, giving you an estimate for what your house is worth without ever seeing your house. So they lost like 680 million, $680 million on that gamble. So good for them. Anyway, so that's one thing I wanted to cover. The next thing I wanted to cover is after the holiday, we're going to start our lunch and learns back to specific topics like we used to do. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to have a calendar and we're going to say, okay, Tuesday, here's what we're going to be covering. So if you wanted to get into that one, you can jump in on that. I'm just trying to get you through figuring out. Here we go. We're going to cover all these different essential topics. We're going to talk about, besides getting your license and dealing with the forms and paperwork, which we've covered before, but rather than just say, okay, today we're going to talk about forms and filling out forms, we're going to put on a calendar and say, okay, Wednesday, whatever day of the month, Wednesday, we're going to be covering filling out forms that day. We're going to be covering another day on the calendar, working in the MLS in case you're not sure how to do something. And maybe it's not going to just be me. Maybe it's going to be Ricardo one day that's going to do the class, the lunch and learn on functioning, navigating the MLS, right? And maybe teaching a couple of things on there. Jenny's going to be covering a couple of these. We're going to also go through another day of policies. What are some of the policies that we have as an office that we must follow, regardless of your particular client or who it is or what's going on? We had one broker that worked here a couple of years ago, broker, not just an agent, broker and an instructor at the college, took a client and met them in New Jersey, wanted to see a house in Westchester County. And she said, I'm not going to ask him for any credentials. He rolled up in a big old Mercedes, and I'm not going to ask him to give me any financials. So I said, you have to. She goes, I don't want to ask him. I don't want to insult him. I said, do you understand what's happening right now? You're going to take a guy because he rolled up in a Mercedes. Anybody can go borrow a Mercedes or rent a Mercedes. There are people that have Mercedes. They got no money, and they're driving around a Mercedes. They're using every dime they have just to pay for the car and the insurance.
I know people like that.
They pray that the brakes don't go out, because if they do, they don't have the $5,000 for a brake job. So that means nothing. So she said, I'm not going to ask him. I said, you have to. She actually left here because of that conflict that we had, that I said, every single person has to provide for us credentials, either a pre-approval, the proof of funds, or get something from an accountant if he's that rich or he's got that much money. Call your accountant and say, do me a favor, give me a letter on your letterhead, CPA, that says that I have enough funds to purchase a $2 million house. Then I don't care, but I need something. And she said, I'm not doing it.
That happened to me with a lead, and he's actually a rapper. And the person that referred me was like, oh, he has money, he's a rapper. I'm like, I know he's a rapper, I've heard his music, but I still need proof of funds. Why are we going back and forth?
Right. Or just get his CPA or his attorney to simple on an attorney's letterhead. You got that much money, call your lawyer up and just say, hey, Bill, my attorney, write me a letter that I have enough. I want to buy a $3 million house. Could you do me a favor? Give me on a letterhead that I have enough funds to close on a $3 million purchase. That's it.
Perfect.
No commitment. I don't need to throw how much money bank account. I need something. And just because he's a rapper means nothing. Right, Vicki?
Exactly.
We're not going to mention any names because we're recording this. But Vicki had a client,
definitely,
who was a rapper, who was a famous that you would think is worth zillions of dollars with a 30-year career in music. The accountant called up and said he can't buy a house. Why are you showing him houses? On paper, you're a millionaire. You got no money. So I don't care who it is.
Oh my God.
I don't care who it is. I need the financials. All right. So that I'm elaborating a little much because we'll cover it again, but we need to know office policy and why we need to know office policy. It's not just to know, say, no, everybody's got to do it. Too bad, PS, whatever. We didn't just come up with policy because Joe felt like being a pain in the ass and just, hey, why is Joe so stubborn on this? Difference. Okay. So we got that. We're also going to talk about another day developing some sort of business plan on keeping yourself accountable to you and how to nurture leads. Okay. We're going to look at lead generation. I also want to have people not only for the class, and again, every week or 2 or 3, we're going to repeat the same classes over and over and over and over again for new people and people that need a refresher. Everybody is entitled to, I did everything, but, can you help me out? Not what we're talking about. I don't want it to come off that I don't want to help you anymore. It's like, oh, Joe doesn't want to help us anymore. No, I want to give you the equipment to do that. I could teach you how to drive, and you could be a really good driver. And you say, but Joe, I'm getting on the highway for the first time. Would you come with me on the highway? Of course. I mean, I did that for my children. I do that for anybody here. I would want to help you get good at this. But the basics, when somebody's going to a listing and they have no idea what to do, they have no idea what to say, and they just go there, and I want to make sure that you understand like what to do. If you still have trouble, I'm here for you, but you should have a basic idea of what you should print, what you should bring with you, some of the things you should be saying and how to say them. I want to make sure everybody has got that down pat. All right. So I'm going to have these. It's going to be on the calendar. Next thing, working with buyers from the initial consultation. What happens in the initial consultation? What do we want? Initial consultation?
Sign
Sign the
disclosure.
papers. Sign the papers. So it's not so much that we're strong arming them to sign the papers. We actually need to convince them why it's in their best interest to get these papers signed so that we can move forward. Okay. So I want to be able to work with buyers, represent them, give them a preview of what to expect when they get to when we start looking at stuff, how we're going to do offers. It's really something to communicate to that buyer that we're going to be in a position, most likely for anything that's spectacular, we're going to be in a position where there's going to be other people competing. Are you prepared for that? You might be going in 10, 20, 30,000 or more over asking for a really nice house, the one that you want. Are you prepared for that? That's something that we really have to do and be able to structure that offer so that they're prepared. Not everybody wants to do that. You go show them a house and you put a lot of time and effort in with them, and we go look at a house and they either put in an offer lower than asking. What is that going to get you? As we say in Italian, it gets you ugats. It gets you nothing. Gets you nothing. Somebody comes in and go, oh, the house is 800,000. Put in an offer for 710. Sorry, we're not in that economy. That is not where we're at. So reality check, making sure that they understand the economy, what's going on. And if somebody's got a $700,000 budget, we're not shopping for $700,000 homes unless it's been on the market for 180 days. We're not shopping $700,000 homes with a $700,000 budget. We're shopping 650, 670. That's it. And even then, you're at the cap. You can't go over, right? At least 20, right? Minimum 20,000. For anybody that's been working right now, you understand how disappointing it is. So we got to be able to communicate that as well. All right. We also have to learn some negotiating skills. Also dealing with transaction management. What is transaction management? Knowing the steps and what comes after each step. So somebody has a contract signed. Once you sign contracts, the buyer and the seller sign contracts, you're not done. It's not over. Yes, in this area, the attorneys handle most of the stuff. Excuse me. Most of the stuff is handled by the attorneys, but doesn't mean you're off the hook. We still have an appraisal. We have people here, not just on this screen right here, that have seen that if you don't check on your client, sometimes, and it has happened, the client doesn't know what to do. So they sign a contract, they go home, and next thing you know, the seller says, you're in breach of contract. How am I in breach of contract? You didn't apply for a mortgage. I didn't know I was supposed to do that. I'm supposed to apply for a mortgage. Not every attorney is our real estate attorney. There's attorneys out there that they just sign a contract and they're just, okay, whatever. They don't tell you, they don't tell them anything. They don't tell them about anything. They don't go over costs with them or anything like that. So it's our job to make sure that you know what to do and how to set things up so that the client understands what's next. Okay, we signed a contract. What is next? Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to apply for a mortgage. After you apply for the mortgage and you're going to go run through it, you're going to be having the home appraised. You're going to have to pay for that. We got a bunch of steps that go on from there. Once that home is appraised, you're going to be compiling all the papers that are needed for the mortgage. You're also going to pay for a survey. You're going to be paying for a lot of different things, a lot of different municipalities. You're going to pay for an inspection before the contract signed to walk them through the process.
And then from what I've learned from my experience is that, you know, your client is really going to rely on you as a real estate agent to guide them. They're going to ask you questions, even if they're questions that actually the loan officer has to answer, they're still going to rely on you. So you have to make sure that you really know your stuff and they trust you.
Yeah. I mean, a sale that I just got signed contracts for, the client called me up over the weekend and said, I need to measure all the rooms. What for? I said, well, I'm going to buy all new furniture in the house. I need the dimensions of all the rooms in the house. It's the buyer's agent. I said, call up the listing agent, see if they have a floor plan first. If they have a floor plan with all the dimensions, then we don't need to go in there. But if they don't, then by all means, get in there and go measure all the rooms with them. Okay, so you're going to have to go back and do a few things. Besides transaction management and key dates, there are certain key dates, again, home inspection, radon inspection, signing of the contracts, wiring the money, an appraisal, putting together all your bank statements, homeowners insurance, final walkthrough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So that's all part of transaction management. And then the last thing that we're going to go over, and there's a lot of stuff in between that we're going to keep doing, open houses, and what else did I put down here besides open houses? I got final walkthrough. Fred is compiling for me checklists. So when you go to a final walkthrough, you're not just walking through there going, all right, I flipped all the light switches. No, you're going to check off. You're going to bring this with you, check everything off so that you have completed everything on a final walkthrough. So somebody says, hey, the stove didn't work. Oh, yes, it did. Got it written right here. Final walkthrough. Stove was working fine. Garage door opener. We checked every light. We checked the dishwasher. The dishwasher was working fine. The stove was working fine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So not only are we going to go through that, other things, but then finally, the last thing of all the topics that we're going to cover is follow-up, continuation after the closing, to go into the CRM and closing on a transaction today. Let's just say you had a closing August 26, 2025. Well, you're going to put in your CRM to call them in a couple of weeks, a reminder, and then at the end of a month and a half or so, have one that goes out, an email already made. Takes you 5 minutes to do the whole thing, right, Jenny? How long does it take to set these things up? Minutes. Go in, pick another email and schedule it on your thing that says, hey, it's been 6 weeks since you closed. Do you need anything? How do you like the neighborhood? Blah, blah, blah. All the different things we could talk about, and we're going to come up with all the different things that you can put in there. And you're going to go back in 3 months, 6 more weeks after that, 3 months. Follow-up email. And now not only we're going to ask them, how do we like the house? How do we like the neighborhood? Have you met anybody in the neighborhood that might be thinking of selling? Do you find anybody that you think wants to move into the neighborhood since you love it so much, etc.? Is there anything you need? Do you need a contractor? I know a guy. Do you need a painter? Do you need a carpet guy, a floor guy, bathroom guy, whatever? We've got those people for you. Let me know, please. I want to be your resource. Keep me in mind. 6 months later, and then you put in the system 1 year. I'm talking about after you come home from a closing and you got that big fat check in your hand. I think what I'm going to do from now on is say, you want your check? Go into CRM and program some of these things. As soon as Fred said you did it, I'll give you your check. Because otherwise, I don't know if I can get everybody to do it. But it really needs to be done for you, so that all through the year, people are reaching out, and you don't have to sit there. Oh shit, I forgot to call Mary Jones on her 1 year anniversary. You don't have to remember. It just goes out. It's automatic. As soon as it happens on August 26th, 2026, the morning they open their email, poof, it's right there from you. They already got it. You did it today. At the end of your closing, you came home and put it in there. Does everybody get the idea what I'm talking about? This is really, really important. Staying in touch. The other thing I want to make perfectly clear is the importance of getting a testimonial and a Google review. Very important to do. Whether they send you an email, that goes on our website, or they can just go straight to Google. Fred can copy it and put it on the website. We need testimonials and we need the reviews. The more we get, the more clients come to the website. They don't just come looky-loo. They come, they click through, and they go, I need an agent. Okay? Jenny just closed on somebody last week, came in, internet lead. All right? If you're not getting reviews, you're not giving yourself an opportunity to get internet clients from our website. Okay? And then you also want to be sure, as the post-closing and client retention, to make yourself a neighborhood expert. Everybody should find some neighborhood, preferably where you live. If you don't live in a great spot, then pick Tarrytown. We're in Tarrytown. Should know everything about Tarrytown inside and out. Should know everything about Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow, Dobbs Ferry, Irvington, Ossining. This is our area. Elmsford, all right here. The early part of White Plains. This is our turf. You should learn about it. Learn some of the history. Make a blog about some of the history. We're going to talk about all those different things. Does this sound interesting to everybody? And the best part, you don't have to sit here waiting or thinking up stuff. We have the stuff. We have the material. I would like everybody to attend. Either that or get a partner. Get a partner. It's not a big deal to share with a partner. You can get more work done. You could cover more territory. You're doing very well with a partner with Laura Madden, covering more area, having twice as much reach, having a support system for somebody doing the paperwork, somebody's a better talker, whatever. Those are all great things. There are certain people that work well together and they can actually complement each other. Not, you look very nice today. I don't mean by that. I mean, complement each other. Like one person's a better talker and the other person is better at the behind the scenes, going to put the signs out, doing the paperwork, checking online, making appointments and stuff like that. And then there's the other person that's a really good talker, right? Somebody's a really good talker, unlock the door. No, I'm the personality. I want to be out there. And the other person is like, you know what? I don't really care about that stuff. I just want the money and I'll just do my half or my share. That's fine too. Probably next week, we'll roll out a calendar so we can see exactly what days and dates. And you don't have to commit to anything. You could say, hey, you know what? We're going to be talking about final walkthrough. I already did that one. So you can miss it. It's okay. Don't come. If you've been on it, like I don't need it, then you don't have to. I want everybody,
but
and we're going to.
It's good to be
It's
fresh.
right. But every couple of weeks, it'll be the same one again. And you say, you know what? I can't make lunch and learn today. What's he doing today? Oh, he's doing perfect open house. Great. I don't need that one. Right. Final walkthrough. I did that one twice. Even though there's new stuff you could pick up each time, you can always pick something up from somebody else and say, oh, that's a great thing that happened. I got to make sure, take notes that doesn't happen to me. Or that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to write that down. Things come out like what's considered a clean place, a clean space, what we write down when we're going to a final walkthrough of what's essential and what's not. And again, I'm still a phone call away. You're not alone here. It's just the basic stuff. If you want to learn how to cook, you go work in the kitchen. You know how to wash dishes. You know how to get the clean pots. You know how to like boil water. The chef is there and he goes, okay, let me show you exactly how to grate the cheese the way I like it. So it comes out. That's what the chef is for, right? But if you just go to him and go, can you help me boil water? Where are the pots? Where's the lid to the pot? You're not going to last. All right. So I'm the chef. What's that guy's name? That angry chef guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Gordon Ramsay.
Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. Gordon
I
Ramsay.
love him.
I don't want to be that guy. Right. But at the same time, the guy's like, how are you even running a restaurant? You don't even know where you keep your chicken and where you keep your spices. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't want to leave you guys empty-handed here. I want you to learn the basic skills. And then I don't mind you call me up and say, hey, you know what? I got this special need. Can you help me and hook me up? Of course. I can help you. Vicky can help you. Jenny can help you. Derek can help you. There's a lot of people here that have done this done this stuff over and over. And they can help you on simple stuff like where do you keep the pots? How do you boil water? You don't need the broker or the head chef for that. You need the head chef for like, here's my situation. I don't know how to deal with this particular client. That's what I'm here for.
Juggling real estate hustle and family chaos? Balancing Act is the go-to guide. Dive in, and it's like having a life coach whispering secrets in your ear. Quick reads, real talk, and zero fluff. Perfect for anyone trying to adult like a pro without losing their mind. It's like finding a cheat code for life. Grab your copy now and start living that balanced dream.